Daniel Adewale woke before the call to prayer drifted in from the nearby mosque. The ceiling fan above him clicked unevenly, struggling against the thick Lagos heat. He lay still for a moment, staring at the faint crack that ran across the ceiling of his one-room apartment in Mushin, counting his breaths as if each one cost money. His phone vibrated on the small wooden table beside his mattress, a message alert. His heart jumped before his hand reached for it. He hoped, foolishly, that it might be good news. It wasn't. A reminder from the electricity company, another from his landlord, politely threatening, not yet angry. Daniel sighed and sat up, rubbing his face. At 28, with a university degree framed in his mother's house in Ibadan, this was not the life he had imagined. He stood, folded his thin mattress, and pushed it against the wall. The room immediately felt larger, though nothing had changed. He washed his face with water from a plastic bucket and stared at his reflection in the cracked mirror. His eyes were tired, older than his years. He forced a smile, testing it, then let it drop. By 6 o'clock, Daniel was outside, the city already awake. Lagos never truly slept. It only blinked. He joined the stream of people moving toward bus stops, markets, construction sites, anywhere money might be found. Some days he worked as a delivery rider. Other days he helped load cement at building sites. When nothing came, he washed cars or sold recharge cards for a man who paid him at sunset if sales were good. Today he had agreed to help a friend, Kunle, at a roadside barbershop in Surulere. Sweeping hair, running errands, collecting small change. It wasn't much, but it was something. As the Danfo rattled through traffic, Daniel's phone buzzed again. This time, the name on the screen made his chest tighten. Miriam. He hesitated before answering. "Good morning," she said. Her voice was soft, careful, like someone walking on broken glass. "Morning," Daniel replied. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the shouts of conductors and the blaring of horns. "How is your mom today?" Miriam asked. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. "The same. The wound didn't close overnight. I need to send her money for dressings." "I wish I could help more," she said. He wanted to say something comforting, something strong, but the words stayed trapped behind his teeth. Miriam had helped plenty, sometimes more than he liked to admit. "I'll call you later," she added quickly. "I'm already on my way to work." "Okay," Daniel said. "Have a good day." When the call ended, he stared at the blank screen. He loved Miriam, or at least he had loved her the way a man loves hope, desperately, fiercely, fearfully. She had stayed with him through months of unpaid internships, through endless job applications, through days when his only meal was bread and sachet water. She understood when he came home angry, quiet, broken. But understanding, Daniel had learned, could grow tired. At the barbershop, Kunle greeted him with a wide grin. "My graduate brother," teased Kunle. "Future CEO sweeping hair today." Daniel laughed, forcing it. "One day," he said, "just not today." As he worked, his mind drifted. He remembered his final year at the university, how confident he had been, how sure. He had studied hospitality management, dreaming of hotels, airports, suits, and steady paychecks. He had imagined taking care of his mother properly, paying for her medication without counting notes twice. Instead, diabetes tightened its grip on her leg. A small wound had refused to heal, turning into a daily battle of cleaning, dressing, praying. Each phone call from home carried fear wrapped in casual conversation. Around noon, Daniel's phone buzzed again. This time, the message on the screen made his chest tighten. "We need to talk later." He didn't reply. That evening, he sat on the edge of his mattress, the room dim except for light from a neighbor's window. He dialed his mother's number. "Daniel," she said, her voice warm despite the pain she tried to hide. "How are you, my son?" "I'm fine, Mama. How is your leg today?" "It's better," she lied gently. "God is in control." He swallowed. "I'll send some money tomorrow." "Don't worry yourself too much," she said. "Just take care of yourself." After the call, Daniel sat in silence. He felt stretched thin, pulled in every direction by love, responsibility, and failure. When Miriam arrived later that night, she didn't sit close to him. "Daniel," she began, folding her hands, "I've been honest with you from the start." He nodded, his throat dry. "I met someone," she said, "at work." The words fell heavy, final. She rushed on. "It wasn't planned. He's kind. He listens. He's stable." Daniel stared at the floor. He had imagined this moment so many times that it felt unreal now that it was happening. "I didn't want to hurt you," Miriam said, "but I can't keep waiting. I'm getting older. I want security." He wanted to argue, to promise her everything, but promises were cheap. Reality was not. "I understand," he said quietly. Tears filled his eyes. "You're a good man, Daniel." She left shortly after. The room felt emptier than before. Days passed, then weeks. Daniel worked harder, slept less. One afternoon, while helping unload drinks at a warehouse, his phone rang. An unfamiliar number. "Good afternoon," a male voice said. "Is this Mr. Daniel Adewale?" "Yes." "This is Mr. Sola from Grand Horizon Hotels. You applied for a junior operations role last year." Daniel's heart pounded. "Yes, sir." "There is an opportunity," the man continued, "a temporary placement in our sister hotel in Benin Republic. It's not permanent yet, but it could lead to something bigger." Daniel leaned against a stack of crates, dizzy. "I'm interested," he said quickly. "Send your documents again," Mr. Sola said. "If selected, you'll travel within a month." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. Hope returned, cautiously, like a guest unsure of welcome. The weeks that followed were a blur of paperwork, borrowed money, prayers. His mother cried when he told him. "Go and shine," she said. "God will go with you." When Daniel crossed the border into Benin, the air felt lighter. Cotonou was different, calmer. The hotel stood tall and polished, everything he had dreamed of. On his first day, he met Elise. She was friendly and efficient, with a quiet confidence. She spoke English with a soft accent and helped him adjust to the routines. "You'll be fine here," she told him during a break. "Just work hard." Daniel did more than that. He stayed late, volunteered for extra shifts, learned fast. For the first time in years, he felt seen. One evening, as they walked out together, Elise asked Daniel, "Why do you work like you're running from something?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Maybe I am." She nodded, not pressing. Weeks later, during a staff gathering, Daniel learned the truth. Elise's father was visiting, the CEO, the same man whose name sat at the top of every application Daniel had ever sent. Elise watched Daniel's reaction, her eyes thoughtful. Later, she spoke quietly. "My father likes honest people," she said. "I can put in a word." Daniel's hand trembled slightly. "Thank you," he said. "I won't disappoint." That night, in his small room in Cotonou, Daniel stared at the ceiling again. This time, the crack wasn't there. The fan worked smoothly. His phone buzzed with a message from home. His mother was stable. For the first time in a long while, Daniel allowed himself to believe. Daniel's days in Cotonou began to take shape, steady and demanding. Morning shifts bled into evenings, and evenings often stretched into nights. He no longer counted hours the way he used to. Now he counted progress. Each task completed without complaint, each guest satisfied, each supervisor nodding with quiet approval felt like a brick laid carefully under his feet. Elise noticed everything. She noticed how Daniel arrived early and left late, how he asked questions others avoided, how he listened more than he spoke. She noticed the way he folded his uniform neatly before leaving the locker room, as if respect could be ironed into fabric. "You remind me of someone," she said one afternoon as they reviewed guest feedback reports. "Who?" Daniel asked. "My father," she replied with a small smile, "when he had nothing." Daniel paused. "He had nothing?" She laughed softly. Nothing but stubborn belief. Those words stayed with him. News from Nigeria came in fragments. His mother's wound had reduced slightly. The dressings were working. The doctor sounded hopeful. Each update felt like oxygen. Daniel sent money home regularly now, not much, but consistent. His mother prayed for him every morning and evening, her gratitude louder than her pain. One evening, Daniel received a message from Miriam. He stared at the screen for a long time before opening it. "I heard you traveled. I hope you're okay." He typed, deleted, typed again. "I'm fine. I hope you are too." She replied almost immediately. "I am. I just wanted you to know I'm rooting for you." Daniel read the message twice. There was no anger left in him, only distance. He wished her well silently and locked his phone. At work, the pressure increased. The hotel prepared for an international conference, and standards tightened. Mistakes were no longer corrected gently. Daniel felt the weight of expectations, especially after Elise's father, Mr. Laurent Moreau, extended his stay. The man was calm, observant, rarely smiling. When he spoke, people listened. Daniel met him officially during a briefing. Their eyes met briefly, and Daniel felt exposed, as if his entire journey was written on his face. Days later, Elise called Daniel aside. "My father wants to see you," she said. Daniel's heart pounded. "Did I do something wrong?" She shook her head. "Just be yourself." Inside the office, Mr. Moreau studied Daniel quietly. "You are from Nigeria," he said. "Yes, sir." "You studied hospitality?" "Yes, sir." "You work as if you have something to prove." Daniel chose his words carefully. "I do, sir." Mr. Moreau nodded. "Why?" Daniel inhaled. "Because opportunity saved me. I don't want to waste it." Silence followed. Then Mr. Moreau stood. "We will talk again," he said. That night, Daniel barely slept. Weeks passed without news. Doubt crept in, familiar and unwelcome. Then, one morning, Elise ran into the staff lounge smiling. "She approved it," she said. "Approved what?" Daniel asked, confused. "A permanent role, assistant operations supervisor, training included, benefits?" Daniel's knees weakened. He sat down slowly. "Thank you," he whispered. She shook her head. "You earned it." With the new role came stability, a better room, health insurance, a future that no longer felt like a rumor. Daniel called his mother immediately. She cried openly, "My son! God has remembered us!" Her wound healed fully within months. Back in Lagos, Miriam saw the announcement on social media. Daniel Adewale promoted abroad. She smiled sadly and closed the app. Time moved forward. Daniel visited Nigeria a year later, not as a desperate man, but as someone grounded. He held his mother's hands, healed and warm. He paid old debts. He forgave silently. When he returned to Cotonou, Elise waited at the airport. "You look lighter," she said. "I am," he replied. They walked side by side, no promises spoken, no labels forced, just understanding, steady and quiet. One evening, Daniel stood by the hotel balcony, watching the city breathe below him. He thought of the boy who swept hair in Surulere, who counted coins and swallowed pride. He thought of hunger, heartbreak, patience. He had not arrived by luck alone. He had arrived by endurance. And this time, the future stayed.